This episode is brought to you by Lone Wolf Paintball. They are an amazing online supplier and have been around since the beginning of the game as Michigan's premier paintball field and paintball supplier since 1987. They are rapidly expanding into the online retail space and supplying everything you need to be the best paintball player you can be. They have got it all. Head over to lonewolfpaintball.com and shop all of your favorite brands. And they also boast amazing customer service and will have this out to you with same day shipping, which is amazing. It's always nice to know that your stuff is on its way immediately so you can start to use it that very next weekend of play. Check out their YouTube, Lone Wolf Paintball, and their Instagram at Lone Wolf PB, and stay up to date with all of their deals and sales. Play the Game podcast is immensely honored to have them on board, and we cannot wait for you guys to check out lonewolfpaintball.com and become a part of their community.
What's going on, PTG Nation? This episode, we have an absolute banger, a little unconventional, definitely one for the community. First up, we have Kinman Covey. He's from Paintball Network TV. He's been making these amazing highlight reels, top 10 plays. He's got even top 20 in his bounce segment, and doing a really good thing for the sport of paintball, trying to become, I guess, like the sports center of paintball, as he says, and incredibly valuable content. Really great conversation with him. And that is followed up by an amazing chef here in San Diego, who is also a longtime paintball player. He's the executive chef at Juniper Ivy and provided an amazing experience for Sahar, my girlfriend, and myself. And his name is Alex Pankin. And yeah, just really great to see, how paintball translates to, all of the success that some people have outside of the game as well. So without further ado, we're going to hop in the show.
That was an insane inside move by Marcelo Margot. Great communication.
And the crowd starts chanting Harmon.
Great shot by all the guys, though. Tyler Harmon saved that game. He came out with 2 wins. Marcelo Margot was on fire.
What's up, everyone? We hope you're doing amazing out there. We're back with episode 335. March, how you doing, bro?
Good, brother. How you doing?
Doing good. Just got back from Sacramento, playing out there at Capitol Edge this weekend with the squad, and I got to see my parents this weekend, so it was a good weekend.
Oh, nice. They came down to the field or what?
Yeah. They live up in Northern California, pretty much as far north in California as you can go before you leave the state. So it's like a 3.5 hour drive for them to get to Sacramento, but they made the drive, and it's just always so nice to see them. Obviously they're near and dear to my heart. So I live in Arizona. They're way up in NorCal there. So any chance I can get to see them is always treasured.
Yeah. I remember that kind of being part of the reason initially of even going to Impact too, is having practices there for that reason. So you could see them a little bit more. So awesome for it to come to fruition and have them come down.
Yeah. Dude, it was beautiful.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah.
I started with my old man, that's how it all started.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
100%, man. That's why this game is so special. Hey, and also for all the listeners, we have an awesome show. Just want to let you guys know we have a guest, Kinman Kovi. He'll be coming on in about 15 minutes. And then later in the show, we're going to have Alex. I think his last name is Pankin. Or Pankin, not exactly sure how to pronounce it. We'll figure that out when he gets in here, but that's the executive chef. If you guys were keeping up with Instagram, totally took care of us here down in San Diego at one of the best restaurants in the city called Juniper Ivy. And he's also a paintball guy, big paintball guy. And in San Diego. Kinman in San Diego. Yep. Yeah. And Kinman has been the one making these awesome videos. They're basically, instant replays, like top 10 highlight plays after events, which we've been talking about on PTG for a long time. So very excited for that. But again, for all the listeners, sorry we did not have a show this last week. I had gotten back from practice Sunday night, late, like 10:30 p.m. And then Monday morning, Sahar and I were flying out to New York to see my nephew, Mikey, actually perform at Madison Square Garden, which was pretty cool. It was crazy. It was unbelievable. I know I was talking to Tyler before the show, but they sold out Madison Square Garden, which is just like an incredible feat. Their set was 2 hours. What? Yeah, a 2-hour set, and literally not a single person sat down the entire time. It was like, I couldn't believe it. It was insane. The energy was great. The show was awesome. Their band is called The Neighborhood. a lot of you have probably at least heard one of their songs called Sweater Weather. And my nephew's the bass player, Mikey Margot. So he's definitely the coolest Margot, no doubt. I'm like, damn kid, like so proud of him. And he's like such a great, humble individual. So it was really cool. You know, I wanted to spend time with my brother. My older sister flew out there. We had a lot of the family. So that was kind of something going into this season too, that I said I was going to make time for no matter what, was spending time with the family, kind of like, you know, what your situation was.
Yeah.
And it was a brutal back and forth flight, no doubt. You know, we got back Wednesday and I was just absolutely cooked. I mean, I was really tired, but so that's the reason that we didn't have a show this last week. Thank you guys for bearing with us. But we're back at it. And yeah, Damage, you know, we practice 3 weeks out, then we have a weekend off, and then we have layout practice. So this last weekend here, I did some drills with Mouse on Friday, and then golfed with Danny Lincoln on Saturday. You know, had a great time out there. And then yesterday just was in the gym. So yeah, we're getting ready.
We got to bring it back to Madison Square Garden. Hold on. That's pretty legendary. That's wild.
Yeah.
So yeah, tell me more about the music. What kind of music are they making?
It's like, what would you even classify it as? Like alternative indie rock, maybe? I mean, it's a very unique sound. Like, yeah, I wonder what genre they even classify themselves
Dang,
as.
they're absolutely dominating in that.
Oh, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, they're on they just started this massive world tour. They're going to like 30 different countries. It's crazy. And pretty much every single show has been sold out.
Damn. Your
Genre,
nephew's about to be living it up.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Alternative rock and indie pop is like what they're kind of classified as. But it has like a R&B and hip hop kind of blend. And it's like, it's really good. I mean, if you guys have not heard of The Neighborhood, go check them out.
I'm definitely going to go check that out. Yeah, absolutely.
You definitely, you know, the song Sweater Weather for sure.
I believe I do. And I'm interested.
As soon as you hear it, you're going to know. Yeah.
Yeah. I love all types of music. So excited to dive deeper into that.
It plays everywhere. It's literally the 3rd most downloaded song on Spotify ever, which is like crazy.
Ridiculous.
It's crazy. I'm so proud. It's like so cool. And again, I think the coolest part is just how humble he is. He's had a lot of success already, and he's like the nicest kid. You know, he's amazing. He's not a kid anymore. He's about 30 years old, but yeah.
He's playing the bass, so he's got to be chill. You know what I mean?
He's jamming out there for sure. Yeah. So cool. I mean, their whole production, like everything, even being at the concert, you just realize how, because listening to their music is one thing, but seeing them perform is an entirely different thing. And it makes you like fall in love so much more than just listening to music. And it's all about the production, you know, the production, the show, the lights, the aesthetic, the way it makes you feel is an entirely different thing than just the music, if that makes sense. And I think, again, it's so relatable to paintball, to sports. I saw this thing. I sent it to Tom Cole yesterday. And I'm excited to talk to Kinman about this too. But I sent it to Tom Cole, and it was an update that they have with fencing, with professional fencing. I'm not sure if you saw it, but they have this like digital AI thing that leaves these strands of lights where the, you know, fence, where the stick goes, where the sword goes or whatever. And so it looks like this, you know, I wonder if I guarantee I could pull it up and show you guys really quick.
Did they have that? I think I might have seen this on the Olympics. They had the same kind of thing going, or maybe not.
I don't know, because it's presented as pretty new, but here we go. I'm going to play into so you'll have to go to the YouTube to see.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's showing the trails of the sword and all the moves.
Exactly. And like, I think that alone, and look at that. Then he gets hit in the body and the effects. Like that kind of stuff is a game changer, you know? And everyone's talking about it on X. They're like, this is going to make fencing blow up. Like, this is so cool. I want to watch all of this now.
There's a lot of new developments with all the tech coming out, especially tracking bodies, even little details like if Marcelo's running around on the field, having his name below him where he can see, you can see, oh, there's Marcelo. I can see his name right there. Or, you know, like all these little tracking details are going to really start to take our production value for paintball to the next level.
Oh man, I couldn't agree more. I mean, you've said it for a long time. It's a tech-based sport. It really is. We got to start implementing the technology into the production. It's not just the equipment, it's everything. And I could not agree more. I think if we can start utilizing that kind of stuff, and especially with AI and all the different tools, I think it can make a big difference. You know, again, that's where I would love for us to put all of our focus and energy rather than formats and 3-man, 2-man, 1-man, you know, all these different things. Let's make the production better. And I think we'll be able to get to where we want to go. You know?
Yeah, you couple that with the stories, you know, getting people to fall in love with the players. There's so many. I mean, we have hundreds and hundreds of unique personalities in the league. And I feel like the league is stronger than it's ever been, with a bunch of people who really get the vision. They understand, you know, what paintball could be in the future. So we got to tell those stories and highlight those personalities, and then just keep diving in, developing with the tech, and you got a recipe for success.
It's the aesthetic when you're watching something. You're you know, the old adage is don't judge a book by its cover, but everybody does. So as soon as you see something, how it makes you feel is a very important part of whether or not you want to continue watching the game. You know, you need to be sucked in right away, and your brain already makes its decision. You know, it really does, really quickly. It makes the decision of like, oh, this looks janky, or this looks really cool. This is intriguing. So, you know, we got to be very mindful of that. And I love what you said with like even just the little name tags following players and, you know, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, Ty, honestly, I think this is a perfect time to bring in our guest.
Let's do it,
because he's doing quite a bit of this. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Kinman Kovi.
Let's go. What up, dude?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Doing good, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How do I sound? I can turn down my mic.
You sound great. Studio's
great.
looking fresh, you know, guys looking great.
Hold on.
Paintball Network TV is live right now.
Yeah, everybody go, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go Play the Game podcast. I believe that's what it is on the YouTube. And hit that subscribe. And his studio is crazy. Check this out. He's got the paintball mask in the background. He's suited and booted right now. The boy is ready to go.
Awesome.
Let's go.
Yeah, the suit has kind of become part of the brand. I don't know if I'll ever be able to get rid of it now.
Yeah,
no,
that's right.
You can't.
No.
Yeah, this is the professionalism that we're talking about. This is the aesthetic. This is what we need. This is why I'm so excited to have you on. Love what you've done with the channel. Like, we've been talking about this on PTG for a long time. We need more networks like what you're doing. The more the better. Yeah. But the fact that you've finally taken the reins and created this, I think, is awesome. And there's been an amazing response too. I see the numbers on your videos. I'm sure you've got to be sitting there like, that's pretty impressive to, you know, I just started this thing and it's doing pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, as far as impressing myself, I'm mostly just grateful and humbled, honestly, by the community support. I've never experienced a community supporting a creator the way that paintball supports its creators. It's honestly, it kind of chokes me up a little bit because people are so supportive of just trying things, and I think it kind of translates into what paintball is. I mean, paintball is all about effort and work ethic and trying to make things happen, working together, and as opposed to that crabs in a bucket mentality where you're pulling people down who are achieving something or trying to achieve something. Paintball really supports that. They really try to lift each other up. So it's been humbling, and I'm just super grateful.
Love that. And yeah, while you're over at the YouTube app, go ahead and go over to Paintball Network TV and subscribe there as well, because the channel is growing. I think we're almost to 1,000 subscribers. So let's make sure we hit that 1,000 subscriber mark. And then your latest video did like 11K on the recap with the top moves. So let's kind of dive into some of your content, what your vision is, and your process on this whole adventure.
Yeah. So as far as the vision, it was just Sports Center for paintball. I wanted a Sports Center for paintball about, I'd say, like late last year. I was competing in D6 and 3-man, and I just wanted content during the week outside of the tournament cycle, just something to help me learn, help me see how pros really solve problems on the field. And I can infer that from watching film, which is what I do. And I just started taking notes, and I just thought to myself, this must be what Sports Center analysts do. This must just be what they're doing behind the scenes to come up with their film and their analyses. And so I kind of had that idea, but I thought MLPB Plus will come out with it, and it'll be great. I knew that there was movement there. And then Tom Cole came on PTG early this year and said that you guys talked about it for a while. And he actually said something that really kicked it off for me. Aside from just you guys saying someone needs to do this, there's a chance here. Take the chance and take the risk and just see what happens. And then Tom Cole said, we put it on YouTube so that people will make content with it. And that to me, I mean, he might as well have been talking to me I was like, okay, that's it. I have a background in video production, and I've done this before on YouTube as far as starting a channel and gaining a little bit of traction, and fell out of love with it in those other endeavors for one reason or another. But even during those times, I was a fan of the NXL, watching paintball, trying to study what was going on, and just loved the game. So yeah, that was kind of the goal, was just the Sports Center for paintball. I have some ideas for future content. I sort of did the top 10 and then the heads up highlights, where I kind of break down the plays a little more and do a little more of the analysis. But yeah, there's just so much to highlight in the sport. I mean, there is, and especially if you get into the nuance of giving those back players some love, giving those threes some credit for the amazing plays that they're able to put together. You could go on and on and on for years without running out of things to talk about.
Without a doubt. I think as you move forward with this, and even we could collaborate and, drop in and give like a little snippet to help. We want to make sure that you're successful as well in this endeavor. And who knows, you might just be getting a phone call from like Major League Paintball themselves pretty soon if this thing keeps going in the right direction and you keep blowing up with this kind of content, because they need that kind of support for their entity as well. These things all marry together and make the whole program strong. But if we can really do what you're talking about and highlight the nuanced intricacies of the game, which is what we're doing here, and give the viewer is now able to see these layers. And in the same way that when they watch basketball, the commentator is painting these layers, the analyst is painting the layers for the viewer that would otherwise not know how the game even works really, or the details of the way the pros are processing the information and what they're looking for. But by giving the viewer that picture, they don't even realize it. They're falling in love with the game. They're falling in love with the player that's doing these types of things. And now they're thinking, damn, I kind of want to go play some paintball. I want to go and try and put this kind of thing together and be one of those players out there. So it's truly tremendous what the program is doing, and can't wait to see, more content coming. I think so far you've dropped 4 pieces on the channel, and we got the Dover event coming up really quickly here. So we'll have some more fun content, I'm sure, on that event as well.
Yeah, and you mentioned the traction on the latest video. That was all you guys. I had 51 or 52 plays in my spreadsheet from just watching the event. And I went back and watched all of them, and I thought, God, all of these deserve to be in something. And I can't wait to break those down in future videos, right? They didn't make the bounces because 20 minutes is a long video. That tournament was so fun to watch. And I don't think it was I think it was this amazing confluence of the format changes with the pod limit, and also the tiebreaker being changed to encourage that point scoring. But the layout was incredible.
The layout was great.
3 entrances into the snake. And I mean, if you wanted to get creative, you could probably come up with more than that. It was just a fun layout and a really fun event. So credit to the league and the players for just making so much happen.
Big time. Yeah, they crushed it on that one.
Absolutely. I think the bunker change has made a huge difference, removing 2 of the big wedges and adding the little plus signs. It just opens up the entire field a lot more. And Jason did a really good job. And I think that matters more than almost anything. I think that matters more than paint, more than format, more than all the other things, is the layout. And he did a great job. I do also agree, though. I think the format change, especially in the prelims, teams were definitely, running up the score a little bit. We got to figure out a way for that to translate into Sunday, because obviously it doesn't matter on Sunday. So games were a little slower, at least Sunday morning. part of that might be just, again, it's so early. You're like testing the waters, first match Sunday morning. It's just, you might not ever be able to fully solve that part of it.
I have an idea for that one though. I do have an idea.
What is it?
It's kind of like, it derives from Fortnite. I was playing Fortnite with my son, my 8-year-old. He loves Fortnite, so I'm terrible at it, but I'll still try. I'll get on there and just get my butt kicked. But I'm like, I'm trying, Max, save me. Come over here, bro, help me. And he does. He's a legend in there. But in Fortnite, you have this shrinking ring. All right. So I don't think
I know what you're gonna say.
I don't think that it should shrink all the way to where you're right next to each other. But I think after a minute, you can't be like in the back line, or maybe 90 seconds or something like that, to where you have to at least pass up the back line and you have to be pressing up into the field. And that would naturally move the game quicker and into, it was just an idea I had.
Yeah.
Love it or hate it. It was an idea.
I'm on one side of the coin there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only problem I love tactical retreats, and I think tactical retreats are one of the coolest things to see in a game.
True. That's true.
Because so much of my mentality, especially, is move forward at all costs. And so when I see a tactical retreat, it's like, oh, that was nice. I'm like, that was a really smart move to move back, get a better angle, but also limit, kind of put space between you and your opponent. Especially Marcelo had a great one in Tampa of last year, where he won a 1-on-2, 1-on-2 or a 1-on-3. He went back to the snake corner. I don't know.
Yeah,
I like those.
I agree with you. I do agree.
I like
you.
those tactical retreats.
Yeah,
I agree. And I think our game is amazing. People just don't understand like the value in those things. That's why shows like what you're doing are so important, because it will highlight and showcase what's actually going on in those moments. Even in a long drawn out game, when you're watching it in real time, maybe it could be a little boring. But if over time you have shows during the week that are highlighting really the magnitude of those moments and why it's so difficult to make a move because of the setup, because of the situation, viewers will now understand why players are playing slow, rather than saying, oh, why aren't they going? It's like, I actually understand now, because I know, I think I could speak for you on this, Tyler, but I know for myself, for sure, those really long points are not actually boring to me. It actually, the suspense is building and you're like, damn, the moment's getting more and more, there's more and more pressure here. Sometimes nothing's really happening. And I think the only time I think it's boring is when you're playing the same game, and you just want to get on the field and there's a really long point. I'm sitting there going, oh, I can't stand this. But I think there's like, there's other reasons involved. It's because you're waiting to get on the field. But when I'm watching, I enjoy those moments because you understand the magnitude of them and you're waiting to see who's going to break through, who's going to be the player that actually makes a difference in this point. What do we need for the sport to grow? Well, it's a lot of things, but we definitely need young players to aspire to be pro players. That's a big part of it. That's what keeps players playing. That's what keeps players practicing, going to their local fields, engaging, watching Go Sports, Major League Paintball Plus, watching all the channels on YouTube. Well, a way that you do that is you create these superheroes in the game. How do you create superheroes in the game? You need more content around them. If a great play happens in the NFL, you don't just see it once in real time and maybe one instant replay and you see the crowd and everyone erupts and then that person gets the award. No, you see it for the next month on SportsCenter from 15, 20, 30 different analysts giving their take on it, explaining why it was so special, showing different angles, things going in slow motion. So the viewers are going, that's way more magnificent than I ever thought. I always bring back to this one example, and I'm sure the listeners might be sick of it by now, but we're going to use it again. Years ago when Patriots were in the Super Bowl, I forget, it might have been the Falcons game, but Julian Edelman had this insane catch. And in real time, it just looked like a good catch. You were like, okay, that's a magnificent catch. But in slow motion and over the following week, I had this new profound respect for receivers. And I thought I understood football pretty well. I watched it all the time. I played it, but this in slow motion, to see all the details of what he had to do to make sure that ball didn't hit the ground and complete that catch. It was like, that's why he's one of the best in the world. Like you don't understand it in real time. You don't understand it even with the first instant replay in real time. Over the next couple of weeks, he became one of my favorite receivers, and I was like, he's one of my favorite players in the NFL simply because of that type of stuff, And so then I always wanted to watch his games. these are the kind of things that shows like what you're doing can accomplish for paintball. And that's why it's so important, and these things are happening in every single point on the professional paintball field. There's something great that somebody is doing. The average viewer just misses it, doesn't understand it, So, and even if they do understand it, seeing it once isn't enough because it's out of sight, out of mind. Thomas Hara had such an electric performance, and even in the finals, he had such great moves. You did your show on it, but that's it. There should be more. There should be more just highlighting this kid and all of his big moves and Malloy's big moves and Tyler when he came in, his big moves. Like, it should be shoved down the viewers' throats, actually, all of the great stuff that these players are doing on the pro field, because that's what keeps people engaged. We only have 5 tournaments a year, right? So it's 5 times a year that we get to capture the attention of the viewer. We got to keep them engaged in between the events. Otherwise, what motivates them to pay for Major League Paintball Plus for the next one, other than the diehard fans. But if you want to get everyone involved, you got to keep them engaged. You do that with content like yours.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I do love the idea of paintball every day of the week. And there are some awesome content creators out there working on that right now, other than me, who strive for that same thing. There are a ton of, regional tournaments that I love watching, the USXBLs and the WCPPLs. I participate in the MSXLs. And there is a lot out there if you want to find it, but highlighting it is that hard part.
Yes.
For sure. But yeah, as far as Thomas Hara goes and this idea of creating heroes, I think and this might sound a little controversial. I think it's also equally as important to create villains, to create to allow someone to come on and have that attitude and and be that person who says, honestly, I see Julian Edelman as not a villain, but someone who says, I'm going to do whatever it takes to win. And I expect you to do whatever it takes to stop me. He was tough. He was a very hard-nosed football player. And as a receiver, especially, he was not someone that you would say is probably known for his finesse, but he was known for his toughness and his strength and just the grit that it took. He would do what it took to win.
I think his IQ too, like the way he ran routes, the way he could get open. People don't realize, people think that's just an athletic feat, but it's not. It's IQ. And like, that's again, the stuff that I think really intrigues a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. And the decision making and the saying, I'm going to make sure I might, especially as it relates to paintball, sometimes you have a job to do, and that job may be not letting someone progress to a certain point. And when that starts to happen, it's now mano a mano. And no matter what, I'm going to make sure to take you with me. If you're going to come through this lane running and gunning, or if you're going to try to stop me from doing what I'm doing, I'm going to do whatever it takes to stop you from achieving this spot on the field or achieving this advantage. And then the cards fall where they may. And I think that, I look at Aftershock, not to pick on anybody, because I love watching Aftershock. And this is one of the reasons I say it's important to create these controversial, almost not bullies in the league, but people who are just hard-nosed and not necessarily apologetic about it. Aftershock for years was that for me, especially when A-Rod was on the team. I loved watching him come straight through the middle of the field and just blow open a point.
Yeah.
And that toughness, that grit, they didn't necessarily win by shots off the break or the greatest game plan. They won by seizing opportunities and being bold. They won. That's how they won their points and the games that they won the past few years that I've studied. Hosky is a good example of that. He's just bold in the moves and the decisions that he makes. And no matter what, he says, I'm at least taking you with me. I'm at least dragging you down into this deep water. And, if neither of us comes up, so be it. I love that. I love that side of paintball. Like you mentioned, sort of the blowouts in the boring games or the tough. That to me is analogous to defensive football, and that's my favorite part of. I was a defensive player, a bad one. I was not good at football, but I loved the defensive side of the game.
I think all paintball players were bad at another sport, and then we found paintball.
Yeah, and I grew up where the big three sports were really the only option. There was no real paintball scene. It was birthday parties, and that's where I had my first paintball experience. But we loved watching paintball. I was a Dynasty fan and a big fan of Oliver Lang running through the field, just being a wrecking ball. It wasn't until I became an adult with my own money and kids and everything, and I was watching the NXL on YouTube, that I said, wait, this is still out there. I can just go do this game. And that's what I want people through my videos to really understand is we can just go play paintball, and it doesn't have to be too competitive. It can just be fun. The tournament side is there if you need a competitive outlet, or if you're that type of person who gravitates towards that. But you can also just show up to the field on a Saturday or a Sunday and have fun. And that's something that we try to foster, my local paintball community. We try to foster that culture of just having fun with the game and teaching people that want to be taught. That's how I got into it. Everything I've learned about paintball in the past few years has been from studying the greats, all of you professionals, but then all of the people locally who've taken me under their wing to teach me, this is why we do this. This is why we hold a zone, and it's the importance of zone calls and what that means for the rest of the game, how to push an advantage, how to survive. So it really is an amazing community. And I think we could do a better job of making heroes and making these icons. The hero villain thing I struggle with, because you're gonna relate to the hero or the villain. And I don't like the idea of someone feeling bad about relating to someone who's bold and wants to take the opportunity in front of them, that villain idea. I really think it's more of icons. You just create these icons and people relate to them as they do. Some people are more technically sound and they really love the art of getting better at the mechanics. Other people are bold and are not afraid to make a mistake. They're not afraid to put in the effort in that point to really go for it. And that to me is kind of that wrecking ball up the middle. That's sort of that villain idea for me. Like they just ruined your whole game plan.
There's also villains that are very important as well, though, because, it could be just their attitude and the way they are off the field, the way they conduct their business, because people will tune in to watch just to see those individuals lose as well. So in every sport you have, like UFC is a great example of that. You might watch someone simply because you're hoping they get beat up. You're like, I don't like this person. That's the reality. That's not the way I watch sports, but a lot of people do. And actually, I guess that's not totally true. Cause I remember, again, I've said this on PTG before, but a long time ago when women's mixed martial arts was kind of just breaking onto the scene, Ronda Rousey was a big name. I never really cared too much to watch. I just didn't. But she had a fight with Betch Correa. And in the buildup, because I was a big UFC fan back in the day, this is like 2008, 2009, 10, those years. And all of the promotional content for this fight, Betch Correa was just nasty. Like the stuff she was saying about Ronda Rousey was so classless. I mean, I despised her. So I paid, I don't know, it was like $75, $100, whatever it was, just to watch that fight that night. To this day, I don't remember who the main card was, or if they were the main card, or if any of the guys fighting. That fight I remember. I wanted to watch so badly, and so I think in our sport, we have those personalities as well, and we got to lean into that too. It doesn't always mean they're actually a bad person. I'm sure Betch Correa, look, they're getting paid to do this. They're getting paid to sell tickets. That's what they get paid to do. Sports, at the end of the day, it is entertainment for everyone that's not the athlete, right? So we have to understand that. That's a very important aspect. So, I appreciate what you said, and I do agree, but I also do think that heroes, villains, good, bad, all of it, it gives people just another reason to stay locked in and watch and care, about the outcomes of the matches.
Yeah, for sure. I think the word I would use too is polarizing. Like Conor McGregor was a very polarizing fighter in the UFC. And there's nothing wrong with that. And it is a show. I think as much as people like to say poke fun at professional wrestling like WWE, they really nailed it. The heel played such an important part in the development of the story, in the matches, and in making you feel something. If that heel wasn't there, if it was just two heroes, we would have watched.
Mm-hmm. No, you're right. And they do a masterful job. Even to this day, they pack out arenas and they're a very successful business. And it's because they drive the drama. They make you, they grab onto you and they make you want to care. You're like, oh, I'm invested. I want to see what's going to happen here. And now they have, I think, who was it? Logan Paul. And then is it Speed that's jumping off the top ropes these days?
Yeah,
Probably.
You're right.
Yeah.
I did see that. I did see something like that. Yeah, it's all the show, it's all the show. And there's a fine line, with our sport. Obviously, we don't want to gamify things too much, and we want to stay pure to what we have, because what we have is really great. You don't want to fix outcomes or anything like that, but we can do a better job of creating more content around the stuff that we do have, because I know what we do have is great. I know that, I know it because I'm in it. We always talk about, again, I love, basketball is my favorite sport for a long time to watch. The NFL and NBA have kind of gone back and forth for me. And in the last 2 years, the NFL has just skyrocketed past, because I'm way more interested in the athletes, the personalities. I don't really have in the NBA, I don't really have people that my last favorite player was Steph Curry, and he's unfortunately just kind of at the tail end of his career. He's not quite what he was. I still will tune into his games. I watch their playing games, all of that.
And of course, LeBron, you follow him closely and
yeah. Love LeBron James. But whether or not I love the NFL or the NBA, I could watch a full NFL game if it's two teams that I like. If it's two teams that I'm not interested in, the game actually seems boring to me. So that is enough proof to me that the storylines matter more than anything, because it's the same game being played. It's the same game. I just don't have an investment in certain players. And that's why I like fantasy football so important. I'll watch the Panthers because I have, Bryce Young on my team. Unfortunately, it was a 2 QB league. Don't crucify me for it. But, these things make you tune in and watch players that you otherwise wouldn't, and watch games that you otherwise wouldn't, which drives up ratings and brings in more, funding from outside networks. And this is, it's just such an important, we got to tell the stories. Again, with basketball, I could watch two teams play and I'm literally so bored, but it's the same game that's being played. It's just not teams that I care about, So that is an important thing to understand, I think. Got to give people reason to care.
I struggle with the NBA now, but I totally get you. Football, I can watch no matter who's on. Paintball, I can watch no matter who's on. I do understand and appreciate that that's not normal. That's not usually how it works. And one thing I will say about paintball is those stories are there, and they've been there for 30 years. I mean, Heroes for a Day showed us that these stories are happening. Right. It wasn't necessarily that Excessive was that unique in its story. That was happening all across the top level of the sport. And of course, Excessive was unique in many ways, but that drama and what the team went through to put together wins and to put together a winning roster, and the sacrifices they made. I mean, we saw, Nikki Vegas running us through kind of his the work situation and how he couldn't get off
couches
those stories are there, and I think we just have to find them. And the MLPB Plus crew has been doing a good job of the the road to the road to a championship. Yeah. And I thought All That Matters was excellent. I'm really excited to see Cassidy back making content. And I think he brings, I would really love, I'm sure they're already doing it, but if they're not, bring Cassidy in to talk about the importance of the cameras and following the action, but not just following the action on the live stream, predicting the action. Because with Cassidy's background in esports, I was similar. That was kind of my competitive outlet for years before getting back into paintball. I really was always impressed at the observer's ability to predict the action and to know where the next hotspot, which players to watch. And of course, it's a completely different challenge because it's all digital and they can switch vantage points very quickly. But it's the same concept of we have a limited map. We have a box that all of the action has to occur in. It has to happen somewhere in here. Mm-hmm. And Maddie's really good. Maddie, Mike Jeffries, Todd, they were really good at saying so-and-so is about to launch. So-and-so is about to make this move. And sure enough, it would happen. Let's get the directorial side, the production side to also pick up on that. And now we're not looking at the broad view. We're now looking at the sideline view or the kind of like the wire, looking at that before it actually happens, because we miss a lot of that action.
Yeah.
And then
this is actually something. Oh yeah, the paint. And we've been working on that as well. And I think that the league, they even in the description of the rules for the season, they wrote the verbiage as such to where it sounds like they're leaning towards hopefully getting us to a yellow ball that that will pop a little bit better on the screens. And then I love what you said about the vantage point of kind of an over the shoulder. And that's something that Verbal has been fighting for a long time. And he wants to have longer end zones so that you can have the cameras along the back line that really highlight what you're talking about. When a player is going to launch, you can capture that moment of, okay, pan to Verb's camera 3 or whatever, and bam, there he goes. He's launching down that side. Because really, you just need one down each wire, like you said. You got to have one on, so it'd be 4 total cameras on each corner, down each wire. That way you can see. Thank you all from the bottom of our hearts for the tremendous support with the PTG show. If you are enjoying these episodes and want to help with the progress and development of this program and connect with like-minded, hungry paintball players, then head on over to ptgpodcast.com, click the orange Patreon link, and become a member of the PTG World Discord chat room. And now back to the show. All the play action passing, all the movement, there's so much detail work that goes into those moves down the wires. And you get the 2 or the 3 that swings out and is orchestrating everything. Hey, you ready? What do you got going on over here? What's stopping you? How can I help you? All right, what do you need me to shoot at? Yep, I got that. Let's go. Let's make that move. These are all these key details that would otherwise be missed, but that's, thank God we got you here, man. You're going to be working super hard and creating these amazing videos that highlight those kinds of details and start to paint those pictures for the viewer so that they can fall in love with this. And that's another thing I wanted to highlight about what you said is, not everybody wants to be a pro paintball player. And that's normal. And I don't even know that I wanted to be a pro paintball player when I started. I just loved the game, and it progressed to the point where shit, I'm on the pro field. Here we go. Let's go. I'm playing against the best in the world. But we got to continue to drive these stories for the love of the game, for the love of this sport and what it can do for your life, what it can do for just your overall well-being. It really is one of those special places in this world where you can go have a lot of fun, meet really cool people, and it saves lives, point blank. It is a life-saving game. So we got to continue driving those kinds of stories too, and just highlighting the fact that, hey, you got a local park in your community that you can go play at. And highlighting and making sure our local communities are really, really strong. If we want this thing to progress, then you'll have community, you'll have community tournaments, just like how I send my kid to go play community basketball or community soccer. We'll drive this thing to where the communities become really strong, and we can get, a $100, $200 marker in a player's hand, and they can rent it or, become a part of that league and just go play and have fun and give it back to us. All right. Glad you had a great time. We'll see you next week for some more paintball, and start building those kind of facets of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's been nothing more fun to watch than a rec baller coming to walk on at a typical speedball, Sunday, and they have their rental. But then when one of the players with an electronic marker hands them that electronic marker and they start ripping, oh my goodness, it's like you can see it. You can see it in their eyes. This thing just clicks and they're like, that's incredible. And we've had several kids, I say kids, they're teenagers or young adults, convert into tournament players now with our program to just because that happened, just because they felt that intensity of getting to shoot back at the same speed that the person with the electronic marker is shooting at them. But those rec guns today, like those EMEX, those are they're pretty sick.
They're good. They're good. Yeah.
I love a good EMEG. So I think the fields are doing a good job of bringing people in, especially with the younger generation. I agree though that it's that story being told and just getting it back into the content pipeline of the mainstream, whether that's YouTube or whether that's TV. I'm not the expert there. I think having a good mix of all of that is the goal. And we'll get there. It's still a young sport. And I think people doing it because they love it, the grassroots is there. And if we just keep growing that, the rest will follow.
Yeah, man. I couldn't agree more. And I actually want to highlight you and your local community. Where is your local park? You said you play in the MSXL as well. So maybe shout out your team and let's throw some love your way for the local squad.
Yeah, absolutely. So I play out of the farm in close to Shelbyville in Tennessee. The farm competes in XLs, and several of the guys compete in WCPPL under CEP Chattanooga. Yeah. The old Chattanooga team, Cross-Eye Paintball. Pretty much everything I've learned hands-on through the sport has just been from those guys. Taking us under their wing and kind of adopting us into the tournament paintball program. Aaron, who runs the MSXL, is great. They've always been really putting on solid tournaments in the area, and I'm just happy to be a part of it. So we're competing in D5 this year. It's our first X-Ball year, and we'll have a tournament right after Dover. And so we're gearing up for that, and just excited to be a part of the farm community.
Yeah, it's a tremendous field out there you guys have. And the Dover Speedway is going to be a fun one. It's right outside the NASCAR official huge track there. And I think we might even have someone from NASCAR. I believe his name is Brad Keselowski. And he might be making an appearance and kind of doing a little bit of a collaboration with us with the paintball side of things. And hopefully we can start to foster those relationships with NASCAR. And who knows, maybe do some cool stuff with those guys as well.
Yeah, it'll be sick. I'm glad that they're doing that. There's a lot of crossover between those two markets. I think the same people that are interested in the quick adrenaline rush of a paintball point also love things that go fast. And love that adrenaline.
Good point. Go fast, Ricky Bobby.
Let's go.
I like it. Well, Kinman, man, thank you so much for joining us. Honestly, just huge fan of what you're doing. Thank you for doing it because it's really important for the sport. We look forward to seeing all the stuff you continue to create. And obviously, if you need any help with anything, Tyler and myself are here to do so. And we should have you on the show more often. You can just kind of check in, and we could talk about events or really whatever you want. But yeah,
absolutely. And I just appreciate you guys, all the content you put out. I'm a huge fan, and it's surreal even talking to you right now. Just having watched, the Reckoning series, and it feels like I know you, but obviously look up to you, and you're famous in my eyes. So it's just so surreal to be a part of it. Right. And to be on the show. So I appreciate you guys and everything you're doing. Just be exciting at Dover. I know you will, but just remember I'm watching and making a spreadsheet.
We're trying to, we don't want to just make the bounce list. We want to make the top 10. So yeah. Right. Although I love the bounce list. It's great. It's great. No, I mean, again, we appreciate the kind words, but we're all just paintball players. I can't stress that enough. And you kind of touched on it in the beginning of the show. Paintball is very unique and very special in that way. And I think the community, for the most part, looks out for one another. And if somebody else plays paintball, you almost have this instant bond, this instant connection, because you understand how obscure and how much sacrifice goes into playing. It's not a cheap sport, and it doesn't get a lot of recognition. So there's a lot of sacrifice, and people really do it for the love of the game. And so I think it does bring a lot of people together. So you're one of us, brother. Thank you. And make sure, I think we did, but let's definitely make sure to shout out your Instagram and YouTube channels and where everybody can keep up and follow you.
Yeah, absolutely. Instagram's Paintball Network TV. YouTube is Paintball Network TV. And I believe the handle is PNT. But find us on YouTube. If you search Paintball Network TV, it should come up. And just appreciative for all the support and everything from the community.
Dude, the honor is truly all ours. Thank you. Thank you for everything, man.
I do have one more question. I'm going to put you on the spot right now. You're in the hot seat. All right. So you got the suit. You're looking great. Question is, are you actually wearing suit pants or do you got basketball shorts on?
No, these are joggers, and I'm usually in shorts. These are joggers. They even have a cool third zipper pocket. So
nice. Okay.
There we go.
All right.
Extra cargo space. This suit was from Goodwill. It's kind of falling apart. I'm a little scared what happens when it does.
It looks great.
Actually, let's get you in our Discord. We're going to send you over a link so you can join us in PTG World. There are a couple questions that the community had. And if you want to sound off on those in there, we would love that. Actually, I'll just ask you here, Verb's favorite question for all the guests. Favorite food and your favorite place to eat it. What do we got?
A meatball sub sandwich is absolutely, and I have a local place, Nelly's Italian Cafe, which is a local, it's like New York style pizza, but they just make, I've never even had a meatball sub the way they make it. I can't even describe the bread to you. It's almost like a calzone, but it's open on one side. We were
just talking about that. We had some sandwiches this weekend and we're like, the bread is the make or break. Like, obviously the ingredients got to be good, but if it's got some trash bread, this sandwich ain't doing nothing.
Facts.
Yeah.
I think, and I hope I'm not disparaging the meatball, but I think there's an upper limit of how good a meatball can get. It's all bread after a certain point.
Yo, this is, our next guest is an executive chef. He's probably batting his eyes right. He's so upset right now. And me being Italian, that I make some pretty fantastic homemade meatballs. I don't know, brother. Okay. I've totally forgot about the Discord questions. I'm going to brush over one really quick. So Meter from X Factor, we already talked about this. I just wanted to say that he says thank you for doing this style of content for our game, and he wanted to know what inspired you, but we already talked about that. But it's awesome to get recognition from someone like Meter. And then Meter. Fab, he wants to know, what are your plans to make this sustainable? Have you considered sponsored segments, and have you had any direct discussions with the league?
No, I've emailed Tom Cole, but I know he's busy. I might bump that and just, put it at the top of his inbox soon. I just want to make sure, as far as discussions with the league, that I'm doing everything the right way. And I would love to, just make sure I'm not stepping on any toes and just being respectful of all the work they put into it. And just doing it the right way, doing it the way they would want content to be syndicated. And then as far as making it sustainable, I haven't really thought about that. That was my main goal with the other YouTube channels, and I fell out of love with the actual reason I was doing it in the first place. And right now, I just love paintball, and it's something that I've always loved, and I've always loved watching it and being a fan. And that's kind of what I get to do through the channel. Is I was already doing this analysis and this note taking, and I just get to share it. And so I just kind of want to focus on that love of it right now and just produce something great. And then I think if there is any sustainability opportunity, right now it's sustainable for me. I made all this myself, the studio, everything, the 3D work, the intro, that's all me. I enjoy doing that stuff. So as far as the sustainability, that'll come. I just want to love it right now.
Yeah. Your studio looks official. It looks like you're in like the booth. How did you pull this off? This is crazy.
You might not have noticed it, but my lighting is so inconsistent that as the sun goes behind the clouds, it gets less red on this side of me, and then it's more red. And I've been noticing it the whole time, which has been bothering me. But no, the 3D work, I'm a software engineer by trade, and when you're a software engineer, you almost always get into video game development at some point. And so the 3D work was just part of that. I just enjoy making the 3D art, and Yeah, that was once I got the studio made, it was kind of like making content after that was very easy because I'm already doing the note taking, and the telestration program I use, I made it because I wasn't happy with the offerings out there, so I just made my own.
Sheesh, you're making magic over here. Wow.
And that way I could.
You're going to be getting some phone calls from Major League Paintball.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Well, I love what they're doing, and what Maddie and Mike and Todd do is incredible. And I think they're doing a great job. I think if I was to pitch anything to them, it'd be get rid of split deck and allow for some room to analyze. Because Maddie and Mike and Todd, they do that. They try to do that. They don't have time. And their minds are, I hear them in my head when I'm watching points, right? So they have a great mind for it, and they do a great job. So that would be my recommendation.
All right. Well, hey, we'll keep the good content going. If you need anything from us, please be sure to tag us in everything on all your socials. We'll keep pushing it, and we look forward to seeing more fun content after Dover. I know you'll have the top 10 and more fun stuff coming for the people. So thank you for everything you do, man.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, right on, bro. You have a good day.
Have a good one.
You too.
Peace.
All right, later, bro. That was awesome.
Oh, man. It's epic. Yeah, paintball's in such a good spot. I love that we have people excited like that want to dedicate their time. And like you said, it's a thing of passion right now. It's like not something that is going to make you tons of money. Even we've been doing this 5-6 years almost, and it's like it's not like this is a huge cash cow. We do it because we love it. We love the game. It's just really thankful for people that are like that and want to put content forward, because that is how we get to the next level. That is how we can leave something for the next generation that is sustainable and fruitful. And, your kids, Theo, he's at the age where he's going to start playing soon. Who knows? Maybe he'll be on ESPN every other week, Let's go. There's just so much cool opportunity. All right, though. I'm very excited for our next guest, Alex, I believe Pankin. We're going to ask him how to pronounce that when we bring him in, but he's the executive chef at Juniper Ivy, which is one of the nicest restaurants here in downtown San Diego. His camera's not on. I wonder if he's ready. Let's see.
Yeah, it doesn't look.
Pull him on the screen. See if he's in here.
It doesn't look.
Alex, you there, bud?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, there we go.
What up, dude?
What's going on, Tyler? So Marcelo.
What's up with your camera?
I clicked on it here. 1 second.
Let's see.
There we go.
There we go.
It was a little little slip up top. That's all.
What's up, Alex?
What's up, dude?
Good to see you, man.
What's going on, guys? Thanks for having me on.
Alex, is it Pankin or Penkin?
Penkin.
Penkin. Okay. My
commonly mistaken with Perkins, but not Perkins.
Not Perkins. No, definitely not Perkins. I did not mistake it with Perkins. So again, little introduction to the community. Alex here is the executive chef, like I said, at Juniper and Ivy, which is one of the nicest restaurants in downtown San Diego. And he provided an amazing experience for my girlfriend and I a couple weeks ago. We had just the full treatment right at the chef's counter, and you made some of the most incredible food that my girlfriend or I have had in a very long time. We're still talking about it, especially those oysters. Oh my goodness, man. Those are unbelievable. And just thought it was really cool, you being a paintball guy, and we grew up at the same park, Velocity Paintball, back in the day. And the stories there, just thought it was pretty awesome and very special of you to reach out and provide that experience. And so, excited to kind of have you on the show and talk some paintball, some food. First order of operations here, because I don't know if you were listening. Were you listening to the previous?
Yeah, I got a little bit of the meatball conversation there.
Okay. What's your take?
Man.
It's definitely my dad's go-to sandwich. Mine, not personally. I mean, it's a good one-take meal. I mean, you get a meatball sub, you're really not getting anything else. So it's and you could definitely do a place by just meatballs, and I can make a meatball.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah. But the question was is there really a cap on how good a meatball can get? He was kind of saying.
Oh, I mean,
he's kind of saying the meatball doesn't even really matter. It's the bread, and I don't know, man. I kind of beg.
You can only add so much onion powder and garlic powder and herbs, and until it gets to the point of, it can only get so high.
Damn it.
I mean, unless you start grabbing all that, that fancy beef and whatnot, but
you forgot. Well, the fancy beef. But
really,
forgot about
even
oregano.
Really good beef, once you cook it, all that fat just renders out. So, a meatball can only get so good.
Oh,
yeah, but the bread, you got to have the good bread, man. That's the game breaker.
Yeah, no, you could definitely step it up with the nice bread, nice homemade sourdough, or rather than just using some breadcrumbs off the shelf. You know what I mean? So yeah, okay.
So where did you start? Obviously Velocity, and how old were you when you started playing paintball?
Yeah, and it goes back. So basically, we were like do you guys remember Volcans?
Volcan.
Those like pump guns.
Whoa.
Yeah,
dude,
I remember my dad like came home with some of those, and we were just like, "Oh shit, what are these?" And basically, yeah, dude, we just started the woods ball thing. We were kind of the kids all around Chula Vista here in San Diego that were building the fields like in the empty lot behind our houses. You know what I mean? Anytime we saw a little place where we could shoot around at each other, we were jumping on it. Over there behind the mall and the canyons and stuff.
That's real street ball. That's the real
probably
deal.
not the safest place to be like crawling around the bamboo as kids and stuff. And we were definitely running into some stuff that we probably shouldn't have. But
dude, there's a sign.
Like we have guns. we have a single pump. You know, we'll take them out.
This park near one of the homes that I kind of grew up in and spent a few years there. Sahar and I will still go. There's a little Italian restaurant with great meatballs, by the way, that we'll go to every so often. And we'll go to that park because it has a beautiful like overwatch of a lake in Scripps Ranch up here. And there's these signs that say no paintballing. And I think it's funny. I'm like, damn, that's necessary, you know?
That's because of him. That's because of him and his crew.
Yeah, exactly. It's because of you and your boys. 100%.
But no, it's funny. Then we kind of just started, you know, obviously we heard about Velocity Paintball Park, and once that kind of, well, there was a store actually. Velocity had a store in Bonita. And we'd go buy our paint there. I mean, like you'd go get a Ziploc bag of like 200 balls, you know? And you just like beg your parents, like, let me get a bag of 500. And a case of paint seemed like impossible to afford.
At that time.
And it's funny. Real quick, I want to touch on that because it's funny with inflation, how most things have gotten more expensive and people now complain about paint prices. But it used to cost like $80 a box of paint for 2,000 paintballs. Now you get it
like $90. Like
yeah, exactly. You know,
yearly savings on one case of paint.
Right.
Yeah, you were getting like the big ball. I think that was like the lower end. You get some big ball for a decent price. They had some white box specials where you would just get
that was
random
like $45.
Paint. Yeah, it was expensive.
You know?
The price of things in general, because you'd see like a spider compact on the wall for like it was like the prices nowadays with what you could get for your money now with a good gun, like and whatnot. Like, dude, it's ridiculous.
That is one thing that is amazing about the current modern day of paintball is, so in 2013, I first joined Dynasty. We were shooting the Geo 3.5. That gun still holds up today.
Yeah.
You know, you could go online, you could find one of these markers that's a decade old, and that is a top tier tournament paintball gun that you could get for a couple $100. Whereas, you know, you spending a couple $100 back in the day, you were getting a Tipman. That's what you had.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's really cool to see that development happen in the modern day.
So then, basically we just started once. I remember the first time we got up to Velocity, there may have been a few times after, and we saw the X-Ball field. And we were up there for, I think I told Marcel this story. We were up there for a birthday party on one of my buddies or something. And we were playing on the hyperball field or the spools. And my dad was out there with us, and sure enough, he's like, "Oh yeah," and this is you talk about Dynasty. He's like, "Yeah, let's talk to these guys over there on the X-Ball field. They said they're with Team Dynasty or something. Talk to this guy named Oliver Lang or whatever." I told him you guys are gonna kick their ass. We're like, okay, yeah, sure, Dad. Yeah, you're fucking with us, whatever. And we go over there, and sure enough, the guys were practicing over there. We're like, oh shit, like Dad wasn't joking. And shout out to the guys. I mean, we were at that time. We were kind of trying to start our own little team, and we were playing like Velocity was holding those like summer series.
Yeah.
So we were playing like the summer series under Team Odyssey.
Did they let you get some spins against them?
So dude, yeah, basically my dad went over there and chatted with somebody. He was like, yo, my boys wanted to get out there and play, blah, blah, blah. And I think it was like Iron Man or Excessive. I remember seeing Nikki Kuba out there, Maddie. It was some different people. Even Marcel, I was telling him, I was like, dude, I used to hear him yapping out there. And some of my buddies
squeaking probably at that time. Squeaking out there.
Some of our friends were like, "No, hell no, we're not going to go out there. They're just going to shoot us up." And my brother and I were like, "Hell yeah, like
let's go,
let's fucking go." So sure enough, they were like, "Yeah, dude, let's get some spins together." And even at the restaurant, actually, I showed Marcelo a photo of like my brother and I standing with I think Yosh and Ryan and Ollie, and they let us get some spins. And awesome. I can't remember all the points, but I do remember there was a point where I think it was Todd Martinez was behind me, and I was going down the D side, and I saw Fragi in the back, Baby Dorito, and I was like, "Oh, this is my chance." And I just went. I was using like a single triggered angel, which my buddy gave me, which like that gun was like the shit.
Oh yeah,
and,
yeah.
I remember just running him down and putting a couple in his back, and just getting completely obliterated after that. But after we were in the parking lot afterwards, and I remember they pulled out some like posters and stuff for us to sign. He's like, "Who the fuck's that kid that came down and bunkered me?" And I was like, He's
Dude,
like,
that's awesome.
Nice. Yeah. So
I just saw Alex this weekend. I was just running around having some good convos with him, and it's truly amazing to see them still out there doing it. I know Ryan, his shoulder is hurt, so he won't be playing out in Dover, but he's still hungry. You know, I can still see it in his eyes. He's working really hard to get back out on the field, and they still love paintball with all their heart. And we all still do what happened out there, which is letting the local community members get a spin. You know, even if it's just one try, it's life-changing for those divisional players, for the community that's out there with us, you know?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, shout out to those guys. And I mean, just like getting on the field and feeling that, you know, obviously we were mixed in with them and we were spinning, but like it felt approachable at that point in time, you know? And my brother and I, we were like, I mean, we were all in. It was like, dude, the paintball team and everything. And, you know, things carry on, life moves on and whatnot. But I mean, like having that moment, it kind of opened the door for me early on of like, dude, we could hang with these guys. My brother and I really we've always kind of been the facilitators of our team and our group and whatnot. And I mean, that day, it totally opened it up. Like, man, we want to play at this speed and this level, you know, like the intensity. So that was definitely a cool moment. And like you said, it's what other sport can you really get that connected with some of the best in the league? It's like showing up to the street ball court at the park and seeing Michael Jordan out there and Kobe like balling and hop on a scrimmage game, you know?
Let's go.
Like
we gotta always keep it that way too, man. We gotta keep our game approachable like that at all costs forever.
And it's like you guys are out at the events. You guys have your booth set up there. You know, you guys are always approachable. So I remember just you know, see Marcelo and knowing you guys are San Diego locals, and that's when I reached out to him to come into the restaurant. Obviously, paintball didn't work out for me like it did for you guys. I had some different life choices that, you know, went different directions.
You became the GOAT somewhere else. So
I showed up at a restaurant. I never left. But the way it kind of all got tied back was, you know, my brother, we both kind of moved away. I moved to New York City for a little bit with intentions actually to like go to culinary school. And I kind of just pulled the lie to my mom and then like, oh, I'm going to go to New York and find a culinary school. I wouldn't say a lie, but the intentions of like, you get after high school, you're like, what am I going to do? Right.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, I'll go to New York and start getting into cooking. But got there and kind of just ended up skating around the city and meeting friends and never really got to school. But had an amazing experience. But when my brother and all of us, we kind of came back to San Diego, it was like, dude, let's get paintball going again. And of course it kind of went full circle and we went back to Velocity after, you know, went playing rec ball again just for shits and giggles. And then we went to Velocity with the whole crew. And we noticed like, oh shit, there's airball here again. Because I mean, years have gone by. Like I'm fast forwarding for a while. And we saw some dudes playing airball. And I didn't even really think much of it because I was like, okay, you know, what are we gonna do, you know? But my buddy went over there and talked to a guy. He's like, oh, I just talked to a guy named Pops. He owns this team, the Pirates, whatever. They're practicing over there. He said, you guys could, you know, come on over. We're like, oh shit. So sure enough, we went the next Sunday. My brother and I were both like, we called Pops like, hey, dude, we want to get out on the field. And he's like, yeah, show up. And we showed up with like 5 of our guys, and we ended up like spinning against their D5 team. And sure enough, we're playing, and they were just like, oh yeah, if you guys want to get on the team, you can play, blah, blah, blah. One thing led to another. We started playing for the Pirates. And my brother and I were like, dude, we got a place we can show paintball up. Like, we have jobs now, we have money. We're like, oh, hey, we can afford
the way it goes.
Basic stuff. And, you know, I'm a chef, so I always have Sunday, Mondays off. So it kind of worked out perfect to show up Sunday and go play paintball again. So
are you guys still playing regularly?
Yeah. So we're still playing. We've been doing it for about 4 years now. We think we've missed about one event. Obviously we started with the Pirates, so that's kind of what got us started. Started playing D5, actually won a D5 event, I think the second event or so.
There we go.
Which was pretty epic experience, dude. I mean, you guys know, I mean, it doesn't matter what division. In
it's hard to win.
Hard, dude. It's freaking hard. And I felt like this was 2019 or 2020. I felt like the D5 division was like stacked.
Oh yeah.
It was teams. I was like, what? There's no way these guys are
well, the the skill gap has just gotten so tight because of all the content and just the connect. Like you said, we're super connected with the community and giving them all the details. So they're getting downloaded big time.
Yeah, it's like, damn, these are not the same little kids that like we were playing with. These kids are fast, and obviously we were a little bit older now, so it's like, we felt like maybe we were sandbagging a little bit, even though we haven't played for a while. We're like, oh, we're gonna tear this up. First event, kind of got our ass kicked a little bit, but then won that next event, played through D3.
You guys got pissed off after that one.
Yeah,
you're like, oh
yeah. No, exactly.
Yeah.
Start shooting some paint.
Yeah.
And then we bumped up to started playing D4 with the Pirates, and then eventually, Pops kind of started having some health issues and whatnot, and they turned the field over to Velocity. And then my brother and I, we kind of split off, and we took some of the guys, and we started a D3 team. Tell Marcel, we got our ass kicked pretty bad a few times, but definitely beat some good teams too, but it was just kind of like to see what that level is at. And then basically that team kind of fell through, and now we've just been playing full circle back to Team Odyssey as a D4 team. So
see, I love this, man. Yeah. Just highlighting the divisional journey as well, because there's so many weekend warriors that just want to go out and ball out with their friends and just go have a good time playing tournaments, and those stories are tremendous. Do you think that getting back into paintball has helped you with your chef experience as well, with like, I don't know, connection, communication, all these things that kind of correlate into paintball? They also tie into the professional aspect of life as well, and they kind of marry each other together, and it's symbiotic, the relationship on and off the field, making them both really top tier.
No, yeah, totally. I mean, after playing ball, like really getting back into it, and you understanding communication and kind of leadership, and then bringing that back to the kitchen, and understanding like you got to have a voice on the field. You can't be silent. And Marcelo was there when I was working service, and I think he came in a little early. We weren't in the full swing of things. Maybe it was a little weekday, but like on the weekends, it gets crazy, and you got to communicate with your guys, and you got to give that feedback too the next day. Like, hey, what happened yesterday? Like, it's nothing's personal, but it's just like same way you get back to the pits. Like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah,
you burned. It's the same but different. You're cooking food and doing stuff, but yeah, like you said, you're communicating, and
How do you not make it personal though? Because I feel like people, they feel attacked no matter what you say, and it's not coming from a place of malice. It really is genuine care and love for the production and making us as a team be the best we can be, right? So like, what are some tactics that you have for that?
You're talking about in cooking?
In cooking, yeah, and paintball. Kind of go back and forth.
And you know what, dude? It's kind of this generation too, is you can't be as hard. You can't go as hard on them. You know what I mean? You kind of have to pull them aside after and like, hey, no hard feelings, man. It's like when I need something and I call for it, like I need it. It's just it's about what I always do is I just remind them that it's not about us. It's not personal. It's about the guest experience.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, we're just trying to really create a really great vibe and experience for the guests as Marcelo came in, and we don't want them to feel any of the pressure that we have, so we're trying to handle everything on our end so that when they're coming in, they're celebrating their birthday, their anniversary, or whatever. We tend to be kind of a hot spot for those types of things. And like I said, we got to make sure that they don't feel the pressure. And first guest comes in, has the same experience as the last guest.
Yeah, no doubt. And Alex, I kind of want to rewind a little bit, because you now are the executive chef. And for those that don't understand what that means, you are responsible for the entire kitchen, the menu. Like it is, you are the captain, right? And you kind of brushed over going to New York and not going to culinary school, skipping that. So let's kind of talk through how you got into this role and how what path you went down to get there.
Yeah. So basically after I came back from New York, my brother, my best friend owned a pizzeria. So basically all of us, like during high school and whatnot, we all kind of got jobs at the pizzeria and basic kitchen stuff, cutting onions, right? Understanding ingredients, like basic ingredients, making pizza dough, making meatballs, doing all that basic kind of stuff. And, that kind of was like my first entry. I kind of have the old school story of, I started as a dishwasher because that's kind of what happened. And it's kind of funny because I was 15 and I never even applied at the pizzeria. My brother just called me. He's like, hey, dude, you're on the schedule. I'm like, what? He's like, because our buddy's dad owned the place, He's like, oh, I think I told Tony that you'd be down to work. Next thing you know, like I'm on the schedule Saturday, like dishwashing. I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't even, okay, well, sure. I'll show up. And that was basically the start of it. And I just started washing dishes there, and I was the room was in the same area as the prep room. So I was kind of seeing the guys prepping and whatnot. I was like, oh, I can do that shit, you know?
Hey, Bus Boys for life. Did you see the
Yeah.
movie?
Oh yeah. No, I've not. No, I've not. No.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's crazy.
But anyway,
hey, in that movie, they say that the servers are like the coolest they're the coolest in the world. So to be the executive chef, you are the Michael Jordan of chefing it up.
He's the GOAT, dude. I can't even begin to tell you guys how damn good this food was. I was telling Alex while we were there, because Sahar and I, we've been to a few different like Michelin style restaurants, and where they do like the little like tiny dish, and you know, it's all fancy and it's all overdone, and like I usually leave and I'm like, let's get some real food, kind of, you know, you're not really satisfied. It's like too rich. This was incredible, dude. I mean, like literally everything we had was so good and so unique too. Again, the oysters with like the mint and the cucumber relish rather than a regular Monet, like all these things that are your original concepts, just like incredible. If you're in San Diego, you guys have to go to Juniper and Ivy, period, and try this man's food.
Dude.
But yeah, I definitely like. How did you get to be so creative and good at this?
I won't drag it out too long. So basically, I got into the pizzeria, and like I said, I went to New York after that, like talking about going to culinary school, like I said, looking for something to do, but obviously culinary school is expensive. But meanwhile, while I was in New York, my brother had got in cooking at a decent restaurant. It's called Island Prime. They're right on the water there. You've probably heard of it. And when I came back, he had just got a job. He kind of got himself into cooking and whatnot. So built a little bit of a reputation for himself that he could, cook in a semi-professional kitchen and whatnot. When I came back, I was kind of just, my buddy owns a roofing company. So I was just roofing and whatnot. And my brother, Brian Malarkey, who's one of these top chef guys who opened up some restaurants here in San Diego, actually has a restaurant next door to us. He had just opened up a restaurant called Seersucker in downtown. And my brother had a job there. And basically he's like, yeah, I got a brother, and the chef was a cool guy named Shane. And, he always said, the apple don't fall far from the tree. So he's like, if Nick could cook, I'm sure Alex could cook. So they brought me in there. And that was kind of a big jump going from just like basic, pizza.
Cutting onions.
Cutting onions at a buffalo chopper and slicing some deli meats to like, now we're actually, making sauces, beurre blancs and veal stocks, and you're braising stuff. And I basically was just like, boom, my eyes like were open, like, dude, this is awesome. And I've always been the type, like a hands-on learning kind of guy, like show me once and I'll do it. And I could kind of pick up on what I'm seeing everybody else do around me. So I grinded out there for about 4 years as a prep cook. And that's kind of where all just, it jumped fast. I was on the line. I became, line cook, worked my way through all the stations. And this is kind of like very basic for restaurants. You kind of start in the back prep room or the dish pit, and you get to prep, you get on the line. Once you start cooking on the line, you start working your way through the garmager station, then to the pantry station, then to the saute station, maybe the flat top or the grill where you're cooking, the more expensive meats and fish and whatnot. And I just started like dominating through all those stations. And going back to paintball, like it's that same mentality of just like grinding of like, it's like I could do that. And, I could bring that intensity to service. And it really is a grind. You're out there cooking for 4 or 5 hours and it's hot and there's tickets coming in. And at Seersucker, it was all verbal tickets. So you had to remember everything. So like, fire 3 more salmon, fire 2 more shrimp goods, fire hard, fire. You're just like boom, 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 boom. So you start learning that communication. It's like, this is like, I don't know, is this paintball? Like this is kind of this fast paced, like I just totally dug it. And then I basically, grinded out there and got a sous chef position there within 4 years. So I basically kind of had my schooling at the restaurant there, just hands on. One of the sous chefs there actually was one of my friends I went to high school with. So he kind of went to culinary school and he kind of took me under his wing and was, showing me how to cut fish, showing me how to butcher animals, making all the mother sauces and just learning how to do all these different things. And then I've always been obsessed with Japanese food and Japanese cuisine. So I had an opportunity to go over to work at Nobu. And my brother had me meet up with one of his friends. I got a job over at Nobu. Short stint there, but I kind of got out of it what I wanted, which was just kind of learning some of their different ingredients and flavor profiles and whatnot. And I really kind of grabbed onto that. And I kind of now take a lot of what I learned in that short period of time in Nobu is what I kind of base a lot of what I do now. But then sure enough, after Seersucker, it was like, okay, Malarkey started spreading out the restaurants too much. The vibe kind of started getting lost. we heard about this restaurant, Juniper Ivy, opening up. And basically my brother had left Searsucker to go work there. We kind of split up. He got pulled up. The Searsucker opened up one in Del Mar and whatnot. But anyway, the restaurants kind of started falling apart in that way of like, you know, learning aspect and the growth of, you know, a lot of kitchens, sometimes they keep the same menu. And eventually you kind of feel like, okay, I'm starting to cap off on, you know, what I'm learning. So Juniper Ivy opened up in Little Italy, and we're like, oh, this is going to, you know, we heard about it. And I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but Chef Richard Blaze was like our first kind of guy that got in there and put a name on that restaurant. And it kind of gravitated a lot of different chefs and great cooks and whatnot to go there. Like when Juniper first opened, a lot of the line cooks, even prep cooking stuff, were like prior chefs. So the whole roster was stacked with talented people. And I came in there and there was just an instant connection. And actually the management team from Searsucker had left Searsucker to go to Juniper. So they're like, oh, the Pankin brothers. Oh yeah, fuck yeah, hire them. Like, you know, these guys are good. So basically got in there, and that was 12 years ago. So 12 years at Juniper, and I got to shout out Chef Anthony. He was chef de cuisine at the time, and me and him kind of hit it off, and he basically kind of took me under his wing and he was like every day, hey, here, make this. And we were doing tasting menus at the restaurant at that time. And I mean, we were just making so much stuff every day, different sauces, different, you know, cuts of meat. And I was just learning how to butcher and do all this different stuff. I mean, I already had some skills, and then it was just like 12 years of honing that. And then they kept asking me like, hey, do you want to be a sous chef here? Cause I kind of came in there just as a prep cook, line cook, banquet events, doing stuff. And, for a long time, I was kind of just, you know, enjoying that, you know, not having the responsibility, still playing some paintball, doing some different things. Like, okay, I'm just going to keep it chill, you know, and eventually, you know, took the sous chef position there and started learning some of those different, you know, leadership skills in the restaurant, financials, ordering, more butchering and whatnot. And then, but like you said, that was kind of the culinary school, is just surrounding myself with other good chefs that were, you know, already at that level. And just kind of just learning hands-on with those guys. And we went to take some trips to New York to the James Beard House and did some dinners. My brother and I both been on a couple episodes of Guys Grocery Games. So we did a couple of the TV shows. We won the first one. Second one, we made it to the finals, kind of came up short in the very end. I honestly think we had that one. You got to go back and watch it.
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
But so yeah, then here I am. Then basically Anthony left. Anthony eventually took over as executive chef. And once he left, they kind of started filling in some of these other chefs. And I'm not going to lie, like, obviously I was there, I was experienced, I really knew the restaurant, but prior to Juniper, I didn't have really any executive chef experience. So, and I honestly wasn't even really like fighting for the position. I've always kind of just been the guy to show up, grind, take comes my way, you know, was never really trying to push too far ahead of anybody or grind for a spot, but things kind of just kept falling into place. And, you know, the owner of our restaurant's an awesome guy, and he gives us a lot of freedom to do what we want, but he kind of wanted his like name brand chef, you know, which was totally cool. And I had no problem being like second to him and helping out and whatnot. But they went through about 3 different chefs in about a year, and it just wasn't working out. So eventually they're like, well,
the guy
Alex has been here. He knows, he knows who else better. So basically he's got the phone call one day, like, hey, you know, we're just
let's go. Yeah.
We're gonna roll with you and do the thing. And now I've been doing that for a little over a year.
Yeah. Congratulations.
I love
that's tremendous.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what I love the most is not the fact that you didn't go to school, but how impressive it is that you didn't have a background in really any of this, and you continued to accept positions with the idea of, okay, I got to kind of learn on the fly here. A lot of people are very afraid. They want to try to learn everything they can about something before they even attempt to do it. And that's not always the way. You know, you found yourself in a great position by betting on yourself, putting yourself in the right position to learn and to grow. And now obviously it is all paid off, you know, and a lot of people just aren't willing to take that risk. And I think that's honestly way more impressive than almost any other route somebody can go. So hats off to you for that, for sure.
And that's basically, I mean, what I tell my guys, and it goes all the way back to when we first started talking about, like, you get these opportunities. Hey, you want to come jump on the field and scrimmage with us? I'm not thinking about worst case scenario. I'm thinking best case scenario. You know,
I get it. I might be able to bunker Alex Frazier.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like I'm going to get shot up. It's going to hurt, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's the same thing, man. Like, you know, you have to be willing to take risks and you're going to fail. And if you don't fail, you're never going to get nowhere. So you have to just keep pushing and try.
Yeah.
And, don't be scared to take risks and whatnot. So.
Yeah. People are so afraid of what happens if they fail. And it's like, I mean, I know Tyler and I can both relate to that. There's been so many different things that have led to even just PTG, like so many different iterations of things that we've done in the sport through like teaching or just trying out different models and business ideas. And people don't even remember them actually. But I have like, I can list off probably 20 different little business ventures, business ideas that I started and just totally fumbled or failed or whatever. And it's like, okay, on to the next. I see why that one didn't work, but now I can take that and you just continue to fine tune and learn and grow. And those failures, who cares? You just got to keep trying. Yeah.
That's the whole learning experience from the failures. You're like, I tell these guys when they're making sauces on the line or we're doing stuff, it's like, you have to mess it up. Like you almost have to, because you got to see how far you can push it. Like, guys don't know about making sauces and whatnot, but like, breaking a sauce or emulsifying a pan sauce when you're making stuff out of menu and you're sauteing stuff, it's like sometimes push it, experiment with something, throw it into a really hot pan, see what happens. Totally. Like it's okay. Don't be so scared. Like, oh, I'm going to mess up this one thing or.
Yeah. That's where there's a certain element of artistry and science that goes into the whole cooking regime. Like you guys, even in artistry and science, they fail over and over. You put this paint here, you're like, that's not right, I'm going back over it with this. Or in science, they have all these hypotheses and they work through them and fail, and then boom, you hit the sauce. You're like, okay, this is it, we got it. And then now you're cooking, now you're moving.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing on the field with you guys. You guys are probably always out there, always trying to come up with plays, and you kind of also have to counteract that on the field, like live. I mean, that's kind of a question I have for you guys. Like when you guys are playing, I mean, everything obviously at the highest level, you guys have game plans and whatnot, but you guys have to make decisions in the pits too, to be like, hey, we're gonna shift, right? Like I think sometimes in divisionals, everybody's like, oh, stick to the plan. Like, no, you have to be able to kind of float and move and be malleable, try different things, hit different spots, maybe make some bigger pushes, catch them off guard. How do you guys kind of work through that?
That's a really tough one, because it's kind of like you almost have to master playing the right way for long enough and prove that to your coach and to your teammates before you can start breaking the rules. At the highest level, it does happen. And, it's one of those things where if it doesn't work, you're going to get grilled by your coach. You're going to get grilled by your teammates. If it does work, you look like a hero. I guess that's just sports. But I with teams that I coach, one of the most frustrating things that can happen is if we set up a play and a player doesn't do their job because they felt something. Because not only does that potentially mess up that play, it could mess up the following play.
And you don't even know if it works. You're
exactly, so it's like if I wanted the other team to feel pressure on the Dorito side because of something, so I'm sending someone far, but then a player pulls up and they're like, oh, I saw a lane there. I'm like, I don't care if you got shot off the break. You had to go through that zone because next point I wanted to go over here. Now I can't go over here. So it's a very fine line. I have some players on teams though where I give them that freedom because they've earned it. They've shown me that they can play enough times. And I'm like, hey, look, I want you to get out to this spot, get there however you want, get there. Like, I trust you to make the decision in this one. Right. But there's a balance coming along. And I think in the lower divisions, it's very important to probably stick to the play as much as possible. Now, when you lose multiple bodies and it's that scramble point, you got to go off instinct, and no matter what division, that's when you kind of start to go off instinct, and you can resort to communicating with one another and using teamwork to, be the Band-Aid. I hope that makes sense, and I don't want to like,
no, totally.
Yeah.
It's also kind of layout dependent as well, because each layout has its own cadence and its own way that it should be played. And now you can break the rules in certain aspects in certain areas, but for the most part, the snake side is going to play like this. The Dorito side is going to play like this. We need this middle player to do this predominantly. And then as you start to study your opponent, when you see what they're doing, then you can kind of break some rules here and there and make good decisions off that. But the layout also is a big parameter as to how we're going to navigate out there.
Yeah, because you guys, it's different. With Dub C, obviously it's a blind layout, so we're trying to figure it out in real time. You come up with that game plan, you get there that day, you're like, oh wow, that cut is so much harder to get to than we thought, and that guy sitting on that is like, okay, we need to just like change everything now because, and I think that's something we learned through the years of like these blind layouts is that you have to really be willing to like, hey, we might need to completely flip this game plan because this field's not playing how we thought it would be. Snake seemed like decided it was gonna be super aggressive, and it's not. This was actually just like last tournament. It was like double snake, I think they had set up or something, and we're like, okay, we're gonna keep throwing 2 in there, and we're just gonna play like island Dorito side. And so many teams were kind of playing like that they were kind of leaving the D side open. And I always play the D side. I was like, you know what, dude? We were down 2 points. And I was like, I'm breaking this, dude. I'm gonna like just beeline the D side and blow through. Like all the guns are looking snake side. And sure enough, boom, we came
D
back
side
too
is
quick.
always slept on.
We came up 2 quick points because I just blew through, and I even got a buzzer like 2 seconds left to tie that first match. But we wouldn't have went down. Like I felt like we were losing, and then we couldn't figure it out. And I was like, you know what, dude, I'm going back to. I'm always a D side player, so I was like, I'm going to go back D side, and boom, we brushed through, and I found a little opening through there, and I was just making quick moves through, and it works. So, like you said, you got to be able to.
It's a good adjustment.
Yeah, totally. And another bit of advice I would say is really study your opponent, and whatever they're doing, you can always use what they're doing against them somehow.
Yeah,
you know, like I don't care what they're doing. There's some element of what they're doing that we can outsmart them a little bit and use it against them to get an advantage and get that extra body advantage to where it's a 54 or, you know, where we're able to press into a certain zone of the field that we know they're not really watching and get that pressure going for us. There's always something, if you really study your opponent, that you can use against them.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's for sure. And, you know, it's always hard too when you don't have a coach. We've always been up and down. We've had some, like, you know, other guys, friends of ours that are experienced guys that have coached us and whatnot. And we always, or the homie that just wants to be there to help out and whatnot. So maybe one day we're going to have to get one of you guys out there to help.
Hey,
I hired you guys to get us one tournament, see if that changes anything. But
we'll be at the Dub C, the next event coming up here in May. So if you need anything, you stop by the booth. We'll give you some details of the game because we always check out the layout as well. We'll show up, walk the field, check everything out. So if you need anything, we got you.
Speaking of that too, our next show Monday is going to be live just for the goats in the Discord, and we'll be breaking down the NXL layout. So for anyone out there, if you want access, you know, become a goat, you get to ask questions in real time. It'll be pretty good.
It's a lot of fun.
But Alex, I got a question for you before we let you go.
Yeah, dude.
And it's for the viewers. What's one of your favorite dishes to make? And you got to share the ingredients, tell people how to make it, that they can make it home. It doesn't have to be something that's, you know, currently at the restaurant, but what's a good go-to that, you know, all the listeners should go make?
This might be a little advanced for most, but like my favorite thing, obviously born and raised here in San Diego, I'm a big seafood guy. I love cooking shellfish. I kind of back to seersucker, we had a mussels dish on the menu, and it was a beer steamed mussels, and it was just something about the layers of flavoring with cooking shellfish. It's super fast, high heat. There's garlic, there's shallots, there's chorizo, tomatoes, and you hit that in the pan, you throw your beer in there, you throw the mussels in there, season that, salt, pepper, steam up, cap it, you know, throw in a hot pan and cap it. 3-4 minutes later, you pull that cap off. There's just all that nice aroma. You smell the ocean. It's cooking.
It's an experience.
It's an experience. Yeah. And it's so short and fast, but it's beautiful. So yeah, I would definitely say seafood. And
it seems like a quick dish to make.
Yeah.
Sounds
you know,
good.
people think shellfish and mussels and clams are intimidating because you're like, what do I do with this big shell? But really, it's just kind of a one pot thing. You throw your aromatics and your garlic and your stuff in there quick, throw the mussels in there. The second they start opening up, boom, you pour your beer.
What do you saute all the garlic and all that? Do you put oil at the bottom? Or
a little bit olive oil, a little bit of regular, whatever oil of choice. You know, nowadays everybody's on their different tips, but a little bit of oil. And it's quick. Like I said, you put the garlic in there, chorizo, whatever. You could go Italian with it. You could go what direction you want to go. But throw it in the cap, boom, throw a lid over top of it, steam it once all those mussels are opened up, squeeze some lemon juice on there, and a little baguette, nice bread as we were talking about, you know. And
I'm gonna have to make this.
Serve it up.
Make it.
Damn. Do you guys also have a social presence like Instagram, YouTube? Do you guys have anything going like that for the restaurant?
Yeah, I mean, there's what's it called? I have my Instagram, Sliv Livin', which I'm always posting all, like, it's probably the most current thing to follow because I'm always posting dishes day of. Like I was saying, Marcel was saying, we're kind of always changing the menu every week.
Amazing. How do you spell that so that they can go follow?
SLIVIN.
All right. There we go. Go give it a follow and stay tuned in on the chef whipping it up. Let's go.
Yeah, dude. It's a good spot. Marcel had a good time. Tyler, you want to come?
Yeah, I got to get out there.
Come on down. Let me know.
Yeah.
But obviously there's Juniper Ivy Instagram as well.
Okay.
I think got to shout out the team. We have our D5 and D4 team, SD Odyssey.
There we go.
Yeah, you'll see us out there.
All right, so you guys will be at the next UpC, so we'll see you guys.
We both our teams are playing.
There we go. Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. Mike's always putting on great events, and that one will be at SC again, I believe. I think they're all at SC.
Yeah,
yeah,
no doubt.
There we go.
Shout out to SC Village, man.
Yeah, really.
100%.
Yeah,
just a legacy field. They've been around forever.
Yep, they're the Mecca for sure.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks, guys.
Awesome,
man.
guys.
Really appreciate it.
Oh, we appreciate you, man.
100%. Yeah, thank you for coming on, sharing stories, and thank you for all the amazing cooking. And again, that experience was one of the best ever. So much appreciated, brother. We look forward to seeing you. Yeah, WC, come say what up.
Yep, let's go.
All right, everybody, cook up some seafood. Let's get it.
Let's go.
Peace.
Peace.
Later.
All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening to the show. We appreciate your support more than you know. As you guys heard about midway through the episode, if you guys would like to support PTG in any way, you could head over to ptgpaintball.com. You could click the orange Patreon link and sign up at any level and get access to our Discord. The Discord is one of the most phenomenal communities in the game of paintball. We have so many different channels in there. It's great for learning. It's great for connecting, finding teams, selling equipment, whatever it is you want to do in there. We truly have it all. And we hope to see you in there. So again, head over to ptgpaintball.com, click the orange Patreon link, and we will see you in there.